This system right here is what takes agents from $10,000 a month or even lower than that to $45,000 a month in their business. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can do it. Now, to actually understand this, we need to talk about the truth about why you're not getting listings right now. So if you're currently in a spot where you aren't getting consistent deals, this is the reasons why. It's because most agents focus on things like posting content that never converts, or paying for leads that ultimately end up ghosting them, or relying on referrals that never come in on time and they aren't consistent. And if you're honest with yourself, you probably don't have a predictable way right now to get listings. And there's a reason why you're actually stuck. It's not because you're not working hard. That's not true. Tons of agents work 6, 8, 10, 12 hours a day, but they aren't getting more deals. And that's because you've been told success comes from things like having a social media brand on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all these different platforms, or having a better CRM. That's the thing that's, causing you not to get deals, or even that you're not buying leads or you're not using paid sources to actually get you more deals. Those are the biggest lies I've been hearing in the industry as a whole, but those things only work if you already have a predictable system underneath them to get you deals. Because the real reason why you're not getting listings right now is not because of any of those things I just named. You're doing the right work, you're just doing it in the wrong order, okay? Because you're focused on content, ads, and branding and networking, but none of those things matter if you can't generate a cold lead, someone who has no idea who you are, and turn them into a listing appointment and be able to replicate that process over and over again, okay? Because what comes first is actually learning how to convert conversations into appointments, not logos, not content, not networking, not anything else. That is what comes first. And if you look at this graphic I have on screen right here, right? Most agents focus from left to right. They start posting content, they buy a couple leads here or there, or they wait around for referrals, and they ultimately don't get any deals. And then once they realize that, they start doing some daily lead generation, they do some cold calls, they do some buyer follow-ups, trying to get some more deals in, and then they learn how to get great at sales. Then they actually end up getting a good pipeline. When the reality is you should be working from right to left. Because if you focus on a sales system and you get great at sales, you'll be able to do daily lead generation from cold calling or anything, or even buying lead lists, and be able to actually convert those into appointments. And then once you have consistent deal flow, then you can invest into things, and that could be your time or other money, into posting content, buying more leads, and also even just waiting around for referrals because you have a consistent deal flow coming in. And again, most agents work from left to right on this chart when you should be working right to left, because you're literally avoiding the highest income skill that you currently can leverage in your business. And that skill is lead generation and sales. That's it. Like literally just lead generation and sales can grow your business massively, because you're no longer relying on luck and hoping that you get leads, and you aren't being pushy when you're doing your sales. You're not sounding like a closer or a salesperson just looking at a commission. You actually know how to move conversations forward, okay? And it's knowing how to ask the right questions to really uncover hidden sales pressure and get someone to guide you down the entire conversation and ultimately set a listing appointment from it. That's how you actually master sales, and that's what sales is really about. And that's why most agents ultimately avoid it as a whole. They've never been taught how to do it the right way from their brokerage, because their brokerage ultimately has failed them. They never showed them how to do it, and they think that being great at sales, they just have to obviously go through and be very, very pushy, but that's not how you do it. And once you do that, you actually start getting in more referrals because it feels natural, and your prospects actually like that. Because you ultimately don't need more leads. I hear this all the time, that I just need more leads, and if that was the case, I'd be a multimillionaire, right? Because if that was the case, if you actually just needed more leads, every single agent would just go buy tons of leads. They max out their credit cards, they get out tons of loans just to do that and become multimillionaires, but that's not what happens, right? Because if you can't convert what you already have, even if you have 10 unqualified leads in your pipeline right now, you'll never be able to grow your business, because that ultimately is what's going to determine how good of an agent you actually are. Because buying more leads is just going to multiply the problem that you actually currently have right now, right? Because what you actually need is a daily system to literally rank seller motivation, so you're not wasting time anymore. You need proven sales scripts to convert these leads, even if they're unqualified, into actual real conversations. And you need a process to actually close 80 to 90% of all your deals. And once you have those, that's when you can start making $10,000 to $45,000 a month, because you can see on this chart right here, it branches off in so many different directions. Like if you look at the first lines on the left or to the right, you're generating leads, you're setting appointments, you're optimizing your time, and you're converting leads using sales frameworks and handling objections, which is ultimately going to diverse your business, where you can start doing other things down the road and really growing as an agent. That only happens after you master those first couple skills, because once you learn how to master all these things right here, just generating leads, setting appointments, ultimately closing them, your income will change, right? So if you don't have any listings right now, right, you don't need more time. You don't need more tools. You don't need more leads. You just need a better system. And once that's built, you create leverage without needing luck or someone else to hand you a deal.